Hey, come on. Come on. Hey. What? Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Hey. Let's chit chat, this is the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Hey. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Come on. Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, hey. Let's chit chat, sis. Hey, what's up? Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
Good afternoon, ladies. How are you today?
How's it going?
Doing well, doing well.
It is going well. It's we still in the summertime and closing out our season, and a lot of things are going on. I thought it was really important before we close out this season to represent what we feel about the climate that is going on. And I'm not talking about the weather, the climate of what's going on. Because when we come back, I think that early fall season is going to start a whole new climate.
Mm-hmm.
We're going into a year of elections and all kinds of things, and a lot of things are happening. And when we hear the word awoke, I don't know if everybody is awoke, whatever they take that to be, but it's a lot of things going on. And I'm a firm believer that the more knowledge we have and the more information we provide, the better off people can make sound judgments for their best needs. You know what I mean? Your family, my family. But we have to make a decision on what we're going to do, because not making a decision is not an option to me. And I hope anybody listening to this, you have to be a part of it, whatever your part is, or don't cry when you don't like what's going on. So we had a couple things go on in the last year. Roe v. Wade got turned back. Affirmative action, far as the university stance on applications, and I think it was a sting first with Roe v. Wade. It was more than a sting; it was like a shock, because I didn't think that really was going to happen, even though the statute of what is actually happening and how the court is lined up. I think about it now. Yeah, it was destined, to really happen. I think about it in this aspect of my daughter. That I have
definitely
rights
so.
than my daughter. You know what I mean? I have more rights than my daughter did. You know what I mean? I don't need to worry about contraceptives and things like that. I'm past that, because Lord, if a baby came this way, we'll be having another conversation. Like,
Exactly.
what asylum you're going to be put in? So that's now affirmative action. I am a grad student again, but I'll be out soon before I think anything will penetrate me, because I don't need it to get in. But I think about our kids. I always think about our kids, and when you ladies think, I know y'all think about your grandkids. I don't have grandkids yet. I hope God will bless me with some, because y'all have some beautiful grandkids. But I know y'all think about your grandkids. So what's the feeling?
So I like this segue, Kim, about climate. Very, very good segue. But yeah, we're in a climate now of rolling back our rights and liberties that we've had before. For our listening audience, I know that we need to go back and explain Roe v. Wade was an action that the U.S. Supreme Court said that a woman had a right to really have control of their bodies, as far as having a right to have an abortion. And that was back in 1973. So now this year, the Supreme Court says, and it actually was backed by several amendments, I think 3rd, 4th, 5th, something in the 14th Amendment. Yeah. And so now they're saying that it's not, that we don't have that. And then after that, we're going to affirmative action. And affirmative action's purpose was to make sure that people, diverse people, underserved, underprivileged, have the right to education and jobs and everything that would normally not be there. So now that's rolled back. So yeah, we're definitely in a climate of that, and I think it's really sad that women don't have the right now to make a choice for themselves. I think it's really sad now that maybe that universities going to affirmative action, that places where we were limited in going to in the first place, but now had an opportunity to go, may by chance now, because they keep throwing up by merit. But studies have shown that different ones, like I think Berkeley, that they have stopped affirmative action. I think early 2000, maybe 2006.
Look what happened to them.
And the enrollment actually went down. So now, I mean, we're
So
gonna see
you
how it
think
goes.
about, if you think about like Berkeley, and I think about now this will be Howard, UNC. You know, they were the ones where, you know, it got it to the Supreme Court. When you think about that, you think about a lot of things that go along with it, because a lot of funding goes along with it, with affirmative action. You know what I mean? But we gotta keep it clear, because affirmative action didn't just always benefit people of color, or
Right.
you know. So I felt a little concerned that, you know, we already are considered the oppressed people, you know, and now we have to do what they say, an essay to talk about how you're oppressed. You don't know. I mean, you don't know.
Oh, so wait a minute. So now that's going to be
That's a part of your application, so it will be considered. You have to give them like an essay about that. Now, it's already enough essays getting written when you're going into these Ivy League school. Come on now, what do you want? I mean, but think about it. Your admission will be at the hands of of one individual, or maybe a panel of people, to decide if they think that you are really an oppressed person. You see what I'm saying? So I think you're just gonna be you're gonna be you're gonna be in a very precarious situation when you even try to get feedback on why. You know what I mean? Bless you, Chauncey. It may even aspirate other things, but I know there's other rulings that are coming that you know, that it's going to try to counteract that. But it's really disturbing that I feel like we're going in a backwards motion. You know what I mean? I always think that when we think about making things, because this is their argument, they're saying that affirmative action takes away the ability for things to be judged on an even playing field. But we're not on an even playing
field.
You know what I mean? We're not on an even playing field, and it's disturbing to think that that is now a consideration, because we're not. Chauncey, your thoughts?
So, I knew it was once the Supreme Court was basically stacked the way that it was, then I kind of saw the writing on the wall as to what was going to happen, especially seeing what was on the docket for SCOTUS, right? So with that in place, with Roe v. Wade, so now they've sent the responsibility back to the states, right? So now the government, you know, they're not going to have any say so, or any, you know, offer any protection for us. And then now with this, with schools like Harvard, you have to already have your game plan. So if we are arrogant enough to think that it wasn't going to happen, so where's your plan B? And so I think what has happened to Berkeley needs to happen to all these other schools.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what happens. And this is an opportunity for us to really push HBCUs. I didn't attend HBCU, but I feel like this is an opportunity to push enrollment towards those schools, right?
Even your athletes, everybody.
It feels like a boycott of sorts. And I mean, we all have our reasons. Kids go to state schools and stuff like that because it's less expensive and they might be able to afford it or whatever. But I think it should be a push for us to really increase enrollment at HBCUs to see what will happen. And the other side of that, you know, it's not necessarily a perfect world. I'm not talking about a utopian society. But if you're going to be the school that makes that determining factor and you're only going to base it off of applications alone, then don't put color on the app. Don't put race on the app. Let it not be the app. And then let's see who gets in and who doesn't get in, just on pure merit alone. I dare you to try that. I challenge you to do it that way, or to fight for that. Okay, let's not have affirmative action. Let's fight.
Mhm.
How even the playing field will be when, you know, nepotism isn't playing a factor, when legacy isn't playing a factor. Let's see who gets in and who doesn't get in. And so when I think about it from that perspective, I can't be sad for too long. It's just like, what do you do going forward, right? And so that's where I said now is the time to, you know, for our kids. And Kimmy, what you were saying about people benefiting from affirmative action, like we all know that white women benefited the most, right?
Yes,
Where were you?
correct.
Where were all of you in this fight who have benefited from affirmative action? We show up when it's time to vote somebody out or not have them in, and we show up to the polls and things of, where are you? You want us to be an ally, but you don't want to turn around and offer the same relationship to us when it's needed. And
Absolutely not. And they tell you one thing and then go vote something different.
and then go vote something. And that is I appreciate, and I happen to work for a company where DEI is very prevalent. It is appreciated, and they work very hard at it. And I wish every company would do the same. But the other side to that is just what you said, Kim. What you give me in the forefront and you say that you do versus what you do behind closed doors. It's always that way. Oh, Kim, and I like him. Trump could have never won if somebody wasn't out there voting for him.
Exactly. Or not vote, or just not going at all. Just not voting at all.
But I think there were more people that voted for him than it was that didn't vote at all.
I can tell you, like me and Keisha lived in the same neighborhood, okay? And I can tell you when that election came, you hardly saw any of us in line, but you saw all of them in line, and the whole atmosphere was so different. I was like, oh my God, why is everybody seem so mad and hostile and what's going on?
Because low key, they didn't like Hillary either. And so the way of showing that you didn't like her, or you still mad because Bernie didn't get nominated, but a lot of white people,
and
a lot of white people didn't vote because they were mad that Bernie didn't get the nomination.
Hell, I want Bernie to get it too, but Lord.
Chauncey, there were a lot of Black people who had issue with Hillary and those doggone emails. And I was like, well, it's just an email server.
Oh my God.
They did not vote for her, and they actually voted for Trump. And I fought.
I know a lot of them. That's how
having that conversation was like,
had it gone another way, we would not have this issue now. Because see, you have to really pay attention to who you're voting for president, because they are the ones who, can nominate somebody, have that opportunity to do that. And he put in what, 3 or 4?
Three.
And more than we realize, our men voted for him. So we gotta take that. No, I'm serious. They didn't want to see Hillary doing it. So
okay, let's put the Hillary thing on the table, because I'm a little confused why somebody could be so disliking, and you can put somebody in there with this horrendous record. You know what I mean? Horrendous.
Wait a minute. Women didn't like her because you got some that's still mad that she stayed with her husband. That's the thing. Just mad that you stayed with your husband after everything.
Girl, what they talk about, they stayed with theirs too. So.
But then just finding any reason, any cause, as opposed to saying the system worked the way the system was designed to work. And one person won and the other one did not. So Bernie didn't get it. No matter how much of an attitude he sat there and pouted, he didn't win. So
and then he was a part of the problem too.
But he was part, because to me, him and Trump are just two different sides of the same coin. So I'm not saying he's as bad as him. That's not what I'm saying. So don't come after me. I'm just saying. But I'm just, I'm kind of up to here with old white men. I'm just gonna put it out there. You know what I mean?
I think that this all came into play because even though Hillary. And I used to say this to people who used to give me this kickback about Hillary. Hillary is not Bill, okay? And first and foremost, she has lots of courage to endure what she has endured. Why are you looking at it in that type of way? And number 2, is it all because Hillary was just a woman? And
yes.
I kept hearing it. Well, we're not ready for a woman. So you took the man that snatches your pee and all this kind of stuff and say, okay, but he then wiped all these other businesses out and stuff. And you said because he's a businessman, blah, 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 all these things is, and you know what I honestly think, this is my honest opinion. I think that because he won and he did what these evangelicals, because we always supposed to have a division between church and state, but he gave them the power to put the things that they want in place. And this is not no easy rollback. You know what I mean? It's not an easy rollback.
We didn't,
With the decisions that they're making.
we didn't pay attention. While we were so worried about him winning and we were just Trump crazy, they were behind the scenes getting all their local judges and federal judges.
Exactly.
They diverted our attention. They did the bait and switch. And they dangled him and we all went crazy, and they were behind the scenes doing everything they needed to do. Yeah, he appointed all these people and he just did all of this while we were so busy just being so angry.
Yeah, that was their sole purpose, to make sure that your federal judges and your Supreme Court, that they were all Republican, because they know that the law.
Because it wasn't him, it was the puppeteers that were doing it.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah,
but the puppeteers are still at it. That's what the thing. The puppeteers are still at it.
But just look how long it's going to take. I mean, these are young judges. 50.
We don't even have things in place we don't even have a check and balance, like all the divisions of the government, the three houses of the government.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have checks and balances for them.
not a good one.
You got one for the president to impeach him, but you don't have one to impeach the SCOTUS. You don't have none to get people out of Congress for real. Or we just assume that they can't be a part of committee. No, these people do some unlawful things. You know what I mean?
It was because, Kim, that it was supposed to be unbiased.
Well, that's
the
gone.
court, the Supreme Court, was supposed to be not biased.
That's gone forever.
But that's gone.
That's gone forever. Like when you look at it, like I hate to even say his name, it just makes me feel like bugs is on me. Clarence Thomas. I don't understand. I mean, like it just drives me back to just see that you benefit from affirmative action and you want to take it. You took it away. You took it away. And I just saw something about, was it West Point? His son go to West Point. All the things that your children is benefiting from and our children cannot. It's shameful. It's shameful. So what do you guys think is going to happen next? This is, we're not a scholar or anything like this. What do you think is going to happen next? Because I think that the voting rights is going to be diminished. It's already chopped down the bare minimum.
To do that, yeah.
But I think it's going to be diminished. You know what I mean? To something that it will be not even a remnant left of it, because we're in this polarized society, and we're coming up on an election year, and they need to make sure that the cards are stacked in their favor. And anything, I mean, if you ain't learned by the election with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, that things were moving in the background while you wasn't even paying attention, getting mad at him. This should be even more obvious, because Donald Trump is going to court on trial for different things, and the media is giving him all its attention. Its attention, and what's going on in the background is not even being spoken. Not.
And I don't want nobody saying nothing to me when we all back on the ships going back to Africa. So don't say shit to me.
I'll go. Look, I'll go. I'll probably go to Canada first because it's cold. But I will go.
We on the way back.
Exactly. Don't be complaining. Don't say nothing, because you're gonna be right on there. If you don't like heat, too bad. Get the umbrella and get the going, because that's where you're gonna be having to go. But this is like really some serious stuff, y'all. So I think affirmative action opened up. Roe v. Wade opened up a can of a lot of dissension that may be coming down the line. Affirmative action. I think that the civil rights is going to be next. I think that we're also going to roll back anything for LGBTQIE.
Oh yeah,
they're going to roll that back too, especially the marriage. I really feel like that's coming. That is coming.
And the issue with that is then that's when things start to turn not politically dangerous, but it's going just to become dangerous, and it is going to be all out civil war. Basically,
I
And
kind of feel like
I,
it's may go that way. Y'all
yeah,
know a good boat going to the
I didn't,
south.
didn't even take the time to even see what's coming up on the docket. I mean, I know that SCOTUS is on break now, so
Right,
that's
they on break, yeah.
all, but I didn't even have the stomach to even see
Right. I
what.
haven't had the stomach to look because I know it's going to be something so disappointing that
Yeah, I
we see
just feel
something.
like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want, let me deal with it when the time comes, but it's nothing for me to really deal with because the decisions have already been,
Already been made.
they've already been made. So I think that that right there is the most disappointing part, is that again, you got you called fire and we looked this way. And then you were busy working behind the scenes
But
doing.
busy like this in the back.
Mhm.
But I like what you said, Chauncey. Even though we know these decisions have rolled down and more are coming, what can we do now? What can we do proactively? You know what I mean? Because there's no need to be reactive and just constantly sit and wait for somebody to snatch a chair from under you. But what can we do proactively?
I think that we need to look at our votes the way we look at our money. We all seem to want to get together and boycott certain companies when things aren't right. I think you need to do the same thing with your vote. Everybody needs to be educated on who is running and what they stand for. And not because they came out and gave you some water, ice, and pretzels when y'all was out there standing on the corner in the heat. I think somebody that you truly know and understand what is happening. But so many people are about, I got to get mine, right? But what happens if there's nothing to get?
I
What
think
happens
in
if there's
season
nothing?
5, we need to focus on that. I think we have a large enough platform. Maybe we can get some people that are running because locally we do not want to act like this is not happening.
Yes,
Overlooking your local elections because they're more penetrating than the president. Hell, the president got limited
power.
power to do it too
Yes, for
much.
sure.
And I think people get confused about that. He has
Yeah,
limited power. Stop getting angry and talk about what he owed and this and all of. Let me tell you, because you'll be mad if Kamala's up in there. You probably raise all kind of hell if he passed away. So
uh,
you
they
know,
gonna
keep
they'll
it where you should be keeping it. Tell the truth. This is a bunch of BS. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are not far in age from
no,
each other.
Oh, no.
Joe Biden rides bikes and everything while Donald Trump is eating McDonald's. You know what I mean? So go figure. You know what I mean?
and
So
guess what? If they gotta keep Joe Biden on life support to keep Kamala from coming,
please roll it with the oxygen and whatever
they
else.
will do it. They will
Do
do
it.
it.
Do it. Because look, and I mean, I say this, everybody has their issues with, of course, every president has an issue with this, but I do give Joe Biden a lot of credit. You know what I mean? Because he trying. You know what I mean? He trying. Like,
And I think you need to look at people and realize that I was this way before and then I grew and I evolved. Like, can we stop just
pulling
trying to
back something from
like
1972. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
just trying to make it seem like everybody was woke like the whole time. None of us were, right? We were living in our own worlds and not in the heads in the clouds or whatever the case may be. But let's just respect people's evolution, right? Yes, I did
Yeah.
used to be this way, but I'm no longer, and this is how I see it. Yes, this was a mistake, and I voted this way, but now I understand the error of my ways. Like if you could find me somebody who's has a perfect voting record that is perfect on everything that you believe and agree on, please point them out to me because I just don't think it exists.
And honestly, Joe Biden is a traditionalist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
when you think about him and the things that he has done, you have to give him credit. You
Of
have
course.
to give him credit because he has to be stepping out of his comfort zone because he's a traditionalist. You know what I mean? He really is that old Congress that you say stay home and never come back. But he's trying. So I hope that does something. But I think this was a really good episode. We definitely need to I'll say this, we as a podcasting team, we need to look in our local areas and see if we can get people who are coming up on the ballot. You know what I mean? And see if we can interview them. Because honestly, everybody needs to have, awareness, but we need to have our conversation in a way where we can understand it because just doing these little in and outs here and, making, like you said, giving pretzels and water ice and stuff like that. That's never going to do. That's never going to do. We have to bring awareness because we owe our listeners that it's a bigger picture and
Yeah.
everybody needs to vote. Everyone needs
And
to
we
vote.
stop selling ourselves short. We
Yeah.
just we can't do that, and we're the ones that lose on the other side. And like I said, we have to look at it from more than one perspective and have plan B. If plan A isn't working out or isn't going to work out, we need to have plan B ready to fire. You know what I mean?
And
So
C, ready to get on the boat.
yeah, B, C, and D ready to fire because you just don't know which way it's going to go sometimes. So yeah.
Mhm. So Keisha, your final thoughts.
My final thought will be just pay attention to what's going on, like Chauncey said, in your local area, and get involved. Get involved in the political process. Get involved with knowing what candidates stand for. Just get involved in helping and really look at the candidate and not what they do global. Stop making it a one issue type situation, just
Yeah.
one thing. And look at, is that person consistently doing the things that's going to benefit me? Are they? So that's it. That's all.
Chauncey?
You know.
Like Keisha, start locally, right? If you're a parent, get involved in your child's school. And then find out who the congressman or city councilman is over that school
A
district.
school board.
Yeah, start with the school board. When you start there, you will begin. That's where the trickle down is
Sure is.
right?
Start peeling back the onion.
That's right. So when you start there, because that's where a lot of these people start, right? These are the people educating your children. Educate yourself so that you can educate your children at home in addition to them going to school. Do not just send them there and expect them to create these miracles that you're not willing to be a part of. When you start there, you will find that you'll become more involved in more politics and things. You'll be more aware because you'll know the players in the game. Because
and when
again,
you start seeing the funding that you're not getting, you're not getting, it all comes down to $1.00. If you're not paying attention, then you're going to be getting mad at the teacher. Well, my school don't have this, and now guess what?
The teacher, it ain't the teacher.
That even goes up to college because guess what? If they roll back affirmative action, is the federal government getting ready to give more money to the HBCUs?
HBCUs, say so.
Because they struggle in every aspect. Are you give money to the HBCUs?
And do what you can.
You said this money went to that school because of affirmative action. Well, that's a X. Do that. So move it over here, and
let's see how you take out.
Yes, parents who have children who are athletes, you need to push your kids to be, take it away because guess what? We're not going to be looking at the top 10 or whatever it is because I don't look at basketball college level, but you're not going to be looking at that. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be over here where the HBCUs are at and give them more for what they deserve. So yes. I hope that everyone listens to this and know that we are coming in season 5 with more informative episodes concerning about what's going on now in this climate. And I say that because we bring a genre of different types of information to this port. But I think that we have to put more emphasis on what this climate is doing and how we can go, like Chauncey said, have a plan B, and if in the back pocket a C too, even if that's a boat. You got to have something, you know what I mean? Don't sit back and do nothing. It's no more chances for doing nothing than looking and saying, well, I'm not going to vote, especially when we got young people. I can't wait to get Jaslyn on here. Young people, that's not an option. That is not an option. So thank you, ladies. Great episode. So join us next Wednesday when we drop a new episode, and definitely get prepared for season 5. So joining me on the porch today is...
I'm Chauncey.
And Keisha.
Have a wonderful week on purpose, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Take care.